Okay, let's get started. We're gonna make a new hardcore world, and we'll see how it goes. It shouldn't be too hard, because I've been playing Minecraft for a while now. What might, some people might call an OG player of Minecraft. I've been playing Minecraft since it was indoor, when I was like 6. Albeit, it doesn't mean that I'm not really that deep into Minecraft, like in the olden days, but, I was still part of it, Like, I didn't even know 2B2T existed until, like, a couple of weeks ago, but doesn't mean I don't have any memories of, like, those, like, messed up, like, stair icons or, like, other things, like gravel beaches. Like, I still have a lot of, like, I still remember a lot, and, like, the first time slabs were introduced and beds, and the first time there was a birch tree in Minecraft. It's crazy stuff at that time. It's like one of the most, like, incredible things you could see in the game, Nowadays, it's such an, like, a crazy, not advanced game that, like, kind of blows every other used to be amazing feature out of the water, especially, like, every update nowadays. Like, not every update, but a lot of the updates nowadays are, like, huge changes. Like, 1.14 looks to be incredible, the amount of stuff it, like, does and affects. It looks like a really interesting update. I've heard people say that it's not going to be, like, a good addition, but I think it's going to be fine. Looking at everything, none of this should be too bad. I should be able to play this without much problem. As I said, I grew up with Minecraft, mostly due to the fact that I had my own laptop, like, when I was 6, so I could, like, just do whatever I wanted with it. My parents never monitored it. That also, I guess, indirectly or directly, like, affected, like, me relating to other people in the future. Because if I, like, had access to, like, the whole internet, like, YouTube and stuff, I didn't have to, like, watch, like, a regular scheduled program or anything to, like, watch my favorite shows. I could just turn on YouTube and watch, like, Minecraft or something, which is what I did. I watched Minecraft Let's Plays often. There would always be swear words in them, but, I would always just put on, like, headphones or something, or just go to my grandma's house, because she let me listen to those videos without getting too mad. It's just fun. Generally good times back then, but I was kind of an asshole too back then, so I would rather be in this point in time rather than the old point in time, despite the fact it was definitely a lot less stressful. Yeah. Of course it does suck that I can't really, like, relate to people. I was never sheltered, I just never went through the same experiences as other people, I'm the first generation of my family in America, my parents are from another country, so I lived by primarily an entirely different lifestyle than everyone else did, Of course, it doesn't mean my life was terrible, I just lived a different one, You were running for way too long. So I just primarily grew up more in, like, Russian or Ukrainian, like, ideas and ideals. So, I can't really relate to some other fellow, like, Americans, but, not Americans, but, I'd say, what would you call them even? Because we call them Americans because it's just what we've always called them, but, or can we call people in the United States of America Americans when, like, Canada and Mexico are also in America? It's, like, a bit elitist. Not elitist, but, like, a bit weird to say. Kind of like getting rid of every other group but I don't like being politic. So I'll just stick to talking about other things for now. Oh, yeah. What's going on? Oh, god damn it. I'm getting messages. Sorry about that. Just got a text in my friend group chat, Instagram. Yet another thing I don't necessarily have a history with. Not due to like growing up with a laptop, but just due to not liking Instagram too much. Nothing against them, it's a different kind of humor than I'm used to. It's like I'm at that point where like I grew up with like Newgrounds and like playing Newgrounds games and watching like Newgrounds people on YouTube and like watching Minecraft Let's Plays. That kind of stuff kind of humor I have is completely different from like the people within like even like 2 months of my age. Like like someone could be the same age as me and I have no idea like what they like. I have a completely different comedy. It's a bit difficult at times, but you know, it doesn't mean you can't find other people who are in similar situations. Like I find myself spending most of my time on like Twitter and Reddit rather than like Instagram or Snapchat, and like everyone else doesn't, and like they consider those apps kind of like old people apps in a way. Not old people, but like parent apps rather than like fellow student apps, you know? I guess I have like a disconnect then from like other people, but it's not that bad. I still have a friend group. Yeah, still have a friend group. Yeah. Need to find iron so I can craft a bow so that skeletons won't like decimate me whenever I find them. Yeah, but going off of that, oh, there it is. Yeah, I just grew up with a completely different set of stuff. I like a whole bunch of different stuff than other people like. Which is like stuff including Minecraft, you know? Whenever like Minecraft comes up in school, everyone like talks about it as like that like trash game that like people used to play like back in the ages, and it's like normally trash now. And I'm like, nah, dude, Minecraft's cool. And everyone's like, no, it was ruined. And I'm like, it's still fun. You just elitists care only about like the old updates. These updates really improved it, made it a lot of fun and much more fun to play. And you know, everyone's just playing like games like Fortnite or something, which is where most of like not necessarily like children, but like more of the lower age demographic went from Minecraft to like Fortnite and games like those, which essentially purified like the Minecraft fan base, made it a bit more easy to deal with and stand. Certainly like this place a lot more. Minecraft's kind of turning into that thing that like people would treat like other games with, like maybe one day we'll like treat Minecraft as like an equivalent to like Super Mario Bros. Or something. Like only 2000s kids understand this stuff. It's like it's always so crazy to think about, but I know that that's gonna happen. It's always so weird to think about. Just that, like, you know, one day we're gonna be the cool generation, you know, we're gonna be the adults. So weird. Yeah, I just like to think about like right now, like being like 14, like everything's not necessarily like things are trying to be produced for you, but like it's being produced by people who aren't you, you know. If you're watching content, it's either by somebody who is 14 and doesn't understand how like to actually produce good content, or it's by someone who does understand and produce good content, but they're not a teen, so they don't really understand your comedy. Yeah, that's always a problem, you know. Well, I don't actually know if that works. I've never like studied it or anything. I'm only like, you know, a college, not high school freshman. So I don't really know anything about that kind of stuff. Never really got into any sort of fields involving it. But yeah, I've always found that kind of stuff interesting though. Just like thinking about that kind of stuff. Like what we're gonna be in the future and how we'll be treated in the future as opposed to how we are now. Because it's hardcore mode, we don't need to set a spawn point, so we can just use beds whenever we need to, without worrying about destroying a spawn point. Okay. See if we could cook a pork chop in the remaining time. Oh, Christ. Well, let's keep moving then. Find another cow or two. Thank you. I have 5 leather. Let's just get enough for a pair of pants and then continue going. Yeah, oh, excuse me. It's in a delay, isn't it? Yeah, but like it's always so like crazy to think about like differences between like me and everyone else who's practically almost similar to me on the surface. Yeah, it always causes problems, you know. I've always like viewed many people on the same like class as me as idiots. I don't like saying that much because it's a very asshole-ish thing to say. And don't get me wrong, like it's not like it's probably like half of it that I view as idiots, but it's just frankly just due to our differences. I mean, it's like stuff like I'm like using like Reddit and stuff, and of course like Reddit is known for like insulting Instagram, which I don't agree with at all. I believe Instagram is a fine site. I will never call someone an idiot for using it, but maybe just like subconsciously like affecting me. Just like hearing people like Instagram bad like every 5 seconds. I've never seen an acacia wood village before. Certainly interesting. Is any of this food good? Maybe create a farm in the future. I haven't taken any damage yet, which is good. I also haven't had like an encounter with mobs yet either. Being said, it's good that I'm being careful, because I don't necessarily be able to do anything. I can't, if I encounter a situation with mobs, then I can't really just respawn and try again, you know. Once it's over, it's over. But yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of just going back to like being the first generation of America, you know. Life of an immigrant isn't necessarily the best. It can be really good, but we didn't really get dealt the good cards to have a good time. Oh, dear Lord, take that for now. We didn't really get dealt like the good cards to like get that like perfect like American immigrant life. So we ended up with, you know, not necessarily the most money and a little bit poor, and it's kind of like how I grew up, you know, just living by the idea that I don't have money, so I have to adjust everything to accommodate that I don't have money, you know. Probably the best friend of my life was the Steam free game list. Always would check that like maybe once a day, see if there's any new interesting games I can download for free and play. I don't remember there being too much that's free and interesting back then. I'm sure that if I still had the same amount of money as I did back then, Fortnite would have been like a godsend to me, just due to the fact that it's completely free and so much content from just a free game. And the complete utter lack of microtransactions is incredible, really. I mean, I'm not, like, right now I don't really like Fortnite all too much. Not because it's, Fortnite bad, a whole bunch of little idiots playing it, but because I just consider it, like, the game itself is just kind of going downhill, just due to the fact that even if I go away for, like, 2 months, the game's already, like, changed its entire, like, meta. You know, like, you could, like, there would be, like, good old Mr. Blevins could, like, show off an entirely new strat and the entire game has changed in just, like, a week. And you never know what happened. So, you know, if you're gonna play Fortnite, you always have to be, like, deep into the community to, like, truly play it. I mean, there are people who are just good at games that can play it too, but I'm not necessarily the best at playing games. I mean, I'm getting better as time goes on, but, you know, I grew up with Minecraft and Terraria and stuff. I grew up playing creativity games and stuff, never playing, like, first-person shooters or anything. I had CSGO in, like, my Steam library for, like, 5 years and never touched it. But that's like the same with every Steam library. You just, like, have CSGO as soon as you install Steam, no matter what. It's just, like, a thing that happens. Yeah. And grew up playing different stuff. Never had too much money. As of now, though, I do, like, have, like, somewhat of an allowance. Not allowance, but, like, I've managed to learn how to save money, you know. That's probably, like, one of my biggest tips. I mean, of course, being 14, I don't really have many life tips, necessarily. But one of the biggest tips I do have is that you should definitely just save your money. Especially if you're, like, around the age group and in a similar situation that I am in. Because, you know, a lot of stuff costs money, and a lot of, like, stuff that you want to do costs money, and sometimes relying on your parents for your stuff isn't the best choice. But that also leads into the fact that if you do have parents that do have some money and that will, like, give you money, you shouldn't be spoiled about it, but it's certainly a good opportunity to use the money that you could get from your parents to, like, work on some, like, dreams or aspirations that you have. Albeit I don't take that as a, like, excuse to use, like, your parents' money to, like, buy a Fortnite skin or something because you want to be a gamer in the future or something. Just, like, take the opportunity to, like, to ask your parents to, like, get you, like, I don't know, like a $50 drawing tablet or something, or get you, like, a brand new mic with, like, high quality so that you can record videos and post it to YouTube. And just little things that aren't necessarily too high in cost, but just help you get started in what you want to do in the future. That's always important. And if you don't have, and your parents don't have money to spare, and the most you ever get for Christmas is, like, $30 presents, then, like, not Christmas, but, like, just whenever you get presents, it's at most, like, $30 each time. And it's important to save money, because, you know, I've heard arguments from, like, my friends that you shouldn't save money because, you know, it's that point in life where nothing really matters. You can just do whatever you want, and, you know, you'll just get a job later in life and earn, like, 10 times the amount that you did in, like, 3 months in a single day or something. And I understood that, like, whole idea of there's no point in saving money when you're a kid because you'll just earn it all back in the future. And I lived by that, like, idea for, like, a couple months, like, when I was saving money. And now I'm saving money again because I realized that, like, Yeah, it's like important. Like you can like make it pretty far if you don't do anything like as a kid, but you can make it even further if you do spend that, like if you do save that money and buy that equipment and like prepare for the future as a kid. Of course, it requires like a lot more like responsibility and not necessarily talent, but just a lot more luck in some cases when it comes to just you being whatever you are. And none of that's like a problem if you don't do this, if you don't like spend time like saving money so that you could chase whatever you want to do and would rather just spend time playing with your friends, and you know, now's the time to do so, and I completely support it. Because that is really what you should be doing during this time, is just, you know, spending time with your friends before you have to, you know, be locked to a job or something. But this time can also be spent, you know, just start working on the stuff you want to do in the future. Like, you always get a better chance of doing something if you already start doing it, you know, as a kid. Like, if you already have, like, a year of experience in doing something, like, as soon as you graduate in, like, high school even, then you could, like, get a pretty big jump start above everyone else. And knowing, like, an economy, like, knowing just general economy, it's, I don't know economy, but just guessing at how it works, I'd imagine that it's important to, like, just be a good competitor in comparison to others. Because as far as I've heard, like, the economy is competitive. So the better you are at something, the more of a chance that you are to get, like, hired. The more experience you have, the more better chance you have to get hired. Because you're, like, the better person to hire. And there's so many people wanting to enter that, like, it's just, like, getting that advantage over everyone else just makes sure that you won't, you know, just lose everything. Not lose everything, but make sure that you actually do have a set future. That you aren't just, you know, stuck in a McDonald's getting like minimum wage. Oh. Oh. This one. Oh, it just wasn't. Oh, shit. Didn't mean to do that, but. Okay. Okay. Yeah, but just going back to what I was saying, it's always, no matter which way you swing this early in life, it doesn't necessarily matter for now. I mean, like, no matter what you do, it's kind of like a situation of, like, being in a Smash game and you're one stock ahead. Sure, you have a better chance to win, doesn't mean, like, you're necessarily in a different position. You're not necessarily in the lead if you have a one stock lead, despite, like, that being a pretty, like, hypocritical statement. But, like, the other person can just, like, immediately boost up in a matter of seconds. So, yeah, this is the time when you can really just kind of do anything you want without much, like, problem. But it's always good to get that one stock lead, right? It's probably a bad idea to use, like, such kind of, like, such, like, kind of niche things to, like, give, like, general advice. But, you know, I'm gonna continue doing it because you never know, you know. I don't know how else to word it, and I don't really know any other examples, except for, like, the thing I'm trying to give an example of. I think I said before that, like, Minecraft is the most, like, complex, not complex thing in the world. I guess I'll just go a bit more into detail about that now. Like, where, like, everything is pretty, like, in comparison to how it used to be, it's pretty complex, and especially looking at, like, 1.14 with all the brand new blocks and stuff. Looks like it's gonna be, like, an extreme, like, feature edition. But, I mean, the only problem being that, like, it's so, like, it kind of feels like the spine of a greater game, you know? Like, Minecraft is, like, a very, like, very good game. It has like an extremely good foundation. Like this game could last, and it has lasted like thousands of hours of gameplay, especially like and even more with multiplayer and such. But it just feels like it's only the spine. It's like it feels like Mojang and Microsoft have just been expanding upon the same spine for like 9 years and have created like the perfect like foundation for the ultimate game, but they only have the spine right now. And I guess that's what mods are doing, is that they add like the ribs and like the legs of the game. They give you those tiny little things that finish the whole game and make it complete, but this foundation is still pretty flawless in how it works. Because it's always like situations like the combat system where, you know, it's like it's a lot more complicated than it used to be, like, and I like that because like it used to just be spam left click, and I understand why people liked it, but I don't like it now. Like looking at how the game is now, I would rather have it in the whole like wait and like actual timing attacks and shielding, but it's not like detailed enough to like make it like an extremely interesting combat system. Like most battles just go down to right click, left click, right click, left click, right click, left click at the right interval, and you win. So it's not necessarily like the most advanced thing to do, but it's a good spine for something that could be really advanced. Like all they would have to do is like maybe make the skeleton like have a different patterns or something, and then they would have like an extremely like crazy game. But like that just doesn't happen because it's just losing my words here. I just yeah, but that might happen. Like there might be future combat updates that like make patterns happen. But it just like it's the perfect spine for something that could be so like incredible and interesting, mind-blowingly crazy. Just hasn't happened yet, you know. But there's a whole bunch of potential in Minecraft. That's what like mods fulfill, as I said. They fulfill that potential by just looking at what Minecraft does and, you know, adding extra to it. And so like Tinker's Construct turns like item crafting from like boring and just like 3 blocks and 2 sticks to like 4 multiple like item stations and like crafting like stencils and like using a forge and like proper smelting and stuff like that. That makes it really interesting. But like we'll see how it like updates in the future. I feel like especially with stuff like update 1.14 where they're adding all this like extra like all these extra steps and like all this extra like availability to certain things. It's kind of like in economics whenever like you like have something and it's like whenever it's like going from just trying to develop the basic needs to developing just non-basic, like not needed things, but things that people want instead. Kind of like at the point Minecraft is now, I guess. It's going from just getting what people need to survive to what they want to have. You know, needs versus wants, and switching to a want. It makes me believe that Minecraft is going to be developing now and trying to like gonna finally. Oh, shit. Which makes me believe that Minecraft now is finally going to be developing into that perfect game that's like just expanding off of the spine that they've created and just turning it into this ultimate game just after some point. That's what I believe they're going to be doing. Just like everything's just going to be going much smoother. They're going to be adding more like better elements, more like quality of life elements rather than just more, yeah, like stuff like the grinder, which like turns like enchanted items back into XP, that stuff. Rather than working on like the core mechanics, they're going to be adding and branching off those core mechanics and turning it into an actual full fleshed out game, which is what mods did, and now maybe they'll be doing themselves. Anyway, thanks for watching.